What are you doing? Lay down. So, this is a part 2. If you didn't know, watch the first video so you can get caught up to speed. So I'm not just talking about things that, can't correlate. So you can watch the first video, you'll get it. So I was talking about my cousin. And as I said right before the video ended, I had never heard him talk like that before. About seeing the future, and wanting to be more positive and try to do the right thing. He ended up getting shot, and he died over somebody stealing something. It wasn't even him. I think the title of Endangered Species and stuff like that, it ties in with that where, he didn't get to live to see his full potential. He didn't get to see if, maybe if I do this or I do that, can I change my circumstances? The phrase that you hear a lot is a product of the environment. And I think that was one of his circumstances. Being young, you kind of feel like you're invulnerable, and I don't think it came full circle to me until the day we buried him. I was at his funeral, and everybody else had gone, and it was raining. It had just started raining right when they were putting him in the ground. And I was the last person there, and I just stood there and watched as they put the last little bit of dirt on his casket. It didn't come full circle to me, some of these things, until that moment, So, there's 2 more parts to this where I want to tell the story of my best friend, and I also want to tell where my story intersects with that stuff. I feel like my best friend, his name was Dallas. Dallas had both parents too, but early on in his life, his mother died too. His father was in the service, so even though, we had a conversation, he loved his dad to death, but the service, it affects families too, because you would be going all over the planet, different places and stuff like that, and it takes you away from your family. Other times, the way it affects it is if you wanted a serviceman to have your family and they be going on around the base to base or wherever you assign to, and it doesn't allow them to sit still for a second, and sometimes you make friends in school and they pull you out of school and all this other stuff. With Dallas though, he's one of, out of my circle of friends, he was like one of the best people, as far as being a genuinely good person. He didn't get caught up in a lot of this stupid stuff that me and my friends did. The only thing I can say about him on that kind of tip was he was a ladies' man. I was too. We both was womanizers. That's something that the honesty thing comes into play too, because I have to be able to come full circle and look at my behavior and take accountability, for the ways that I treated women when I was younger. With him, though, we had made a plan together to go into the service as a way to, escape all the madness, in our city, But we went to talk to the recruiter or whatever. I backed out at the last minute. You know, I don't know why I got cold feet. You know, a lot of times when you look back, you think, woulda, shoulda, coulda, what could I have done? You know, if we would have both went to the service that summer, you know, he wouldn't have died that fall. You know, because we'd have been somewhere else. But when I said in the first video, I don't live with regrets, it's because you can't move forward if you're always looking back. But these stories in your past help shape you as a person. So it's important for you to be able to be analytical when you look at them. You know, emotions sometimes can block you from seeing things for what they are. But it's a slippery slope. You can't always expect to be able to completely remove your emotion from a situation. You know, so he had got caught up with some stuff, and he got jumped a couple of times. And right before he actually died, one of the times he got jumped on, he almost died. You know, got beat to within an inch of his life. You know, ICU, all that. So the last time I saw him, he was upset with me. You know, I had went and purchased some self-defense items. You know, and I tried to give him one. You know, and he got upset with me. Like, this is not how I live my lifestyle. If that's how you want to do, or if that's how they want to do, that's on y'all and that's on them. It's on you. You know, that's not me. And I used to look at it like, well, maybe if he'd have been able to protect himself, he wouldn't have had what happened to him happen to him. You know, he was out driving somewhere, and he met somebody that I had knew from the neighborhood, but I never personally hung around this kid. So the day he actually died, I was at the same park that's in the first story about one of my other friends, hooping. You know, so I remember I was at the free throw line or something, and I saw him drive by. You know, and I tried to flag him down like, yo, I mean, what's up? Well, you know, we gonna kick it, try to find something to do. You know, and I know he saw me, but I don't know what he had going on. He didn't stop that time. So I continued on playing the game or whatever. And then maybe like 20 minutes later, he was coming back the other direction, and I was able to get out there and flag him down to where I knew he saw me. So then he pulled over, I jumped a little fence and went down the hill and went down there and talked to him. You know, and I saw this other cat in the car with him. You know, and I was talking to him like, well, what is you doing with him? You know, and somebody that you close to, you able to talk to each other in these ways, you know. So he started getting upset with me, cussing me, this, that, motherfucker, this, that, what. And he's like, man, you know, we going to kick it or whatever. If you ain't coming, I'm going. I got shit to do. You know, and that was the last time I talked to him. Later on that night, this kid had already been doing a bunch of shit behind the scenes and was in trouble already, you know. And he tried to get Dallas to drive him somewhere to another town or something. And he wasn't on it, you know. The car wasn't even his. He was, you know, barely keeping gas in it. He was like, I can't do it, you know. And this kid ends up getting mad at my friend and shooting him to death because he wouldn't give him a ride somewhere. And he was upset about, you know, the way he was interacting with some girl, you know. I'm like, you know, I went to the trial and everything. And, you know, looking back on it, what frustrates me about him is that he wasn't part of that cycle that takes a lot of us, you know. Stop it. So losing him was a big blow too, you know. Get away, get up there and lay down. So to put a button on it, where my story feeds into it, is that I am blessed to still be here, with just a couple of the stories that I touched on. That's just a tip of the iceberg. Imagine what it's like for other young men growing up in situations that's 10 times as bad as this. I think that we have to hold ourselves accountable for our actions and be active in determining our own destiny, and because a lot of us know that there's traps out there. The system of oppression does not go about trying to be sneaky about what it wants for you. Neither does the devil. It's up to us to be able to make the right decisions, and with a lot of luck, be able to come out the other side a better man. Although I miss my friends, I miss my cousin. I believe that they're up looking down on me and knowing that, that I learned from them, that they didn't die in vain, because I still have younger family members and younger friends that know these stories, and they still out there, and it's because a lot of times when you in the world, you can't see past that. You standing on the block where that's your whole world, and you can't see off that block. I didn't really see none of these things for what they truly were until I traveled. When I moved away from home, it was scary because I was leaving away from everything I knew. But I also knew that the lifestyle that I was living was like slow suicide. Less like endangered species, but like genocide. Because you have all of these factors, playing into what shapes us, that has nothing to do with us killing us, but when you add in that dynamic to the equation, it's like a powder keg, and being blessed to be able to make a move here or there and just changing my circumstances, ever since the day that I made that decision, I'm gonna stop drinking, I'm gonna stop smoking herb, I'm gonna get my shit right, that my life has changed, and I think that by me getting this degree, and working with young men, Hispanic and African American men, period, make up a small portion of the U.S. population. But those two in particular are the dominant population as far as numbers in the prison system. And a lot of these things go to or lend themselves to explaining these problems, but these are things that we know, and it's up to us to address them. So with my education, what I want to do is I want to work with young people, because I feel like at those times when you're vulnerable to influences that can lead you to the penitentiary or the cemetery, if you have that one person that you respect or that you can listen to, that can get in your ear and put that bug in your ear, like, wait a minute, man, you can do this and enjoy the fast lane, but be dead at 19. I'm gonna take my degree and ultimately I'm gonna do something. Like I've had thoughts about a community center and getting different reformed people from the streets, whether they be gangbangers or just people that was caught up, or working in a rehab center, because some of those things go hand in hand, but like a counselor or a mentor program. My first is probably going to be in a juvenile detention center. But I'm not going to be a CO or nothing like that, but I'm using a degree so that I can combine it with sociology and be able to have like the guidance counselor or mentor kind of role where you can take people off site and be able to, put certain things into their line of vision, so they can see it for themselves. That goes into a large part of righting my wrongs. I corrupted enough people around me. I should be able to do good for just as many people too. If we as individuals poison ourselves and poison our communities, when we do turn around and change our lives, we should be given a second chance. This is a country from second chances. And the lives that I save by being able to give a person a different perspective other than the one that's killing them, is my ultimate goal. So I hope you guys are having a good morning, and just keep your head up, man. All these things that are going on in the news and all this stuff, I feel like it's a distraction. It's important, but in order for me to help other people, I have to work on myself and do these things to be able to advance myself first. How can I help another person if I'm doing bad? As far as everything, financial, whatever. So I hope y'all having a good day, and I'll holler at y'all.